Well, hey there folks, Dave Anderson here, and in this quick tip we're going to take a look at how to reset only incorrect choices in Storyline's drag and drop interactions. Now, if you're familiar with Storyline's quiz results slides, hopefully you are, you know there's an option to, when you retry the quiz, you can reset incorrect questions, but that's kind of an all or nothing type option, meaning if you missed one or two drag and drop choices but you got a couple others correct, it's still going to reset everything to their starting position. What we want to do is only set the incorrect choices back to their starting positions, but leave any correct choices in place. Let's take a look at how it works. So let me show you real quick just to make sure you do know about this option in the quiz results. If I pop open the failure layer and we have this retry quiz option, that's going to let you retry the quiz, which means it's going to reset the result slide. If I pop open that result, that trigger right here, you'll see that there's this option right here to reset only the incorrect questions. Well, what that's going to do is it's going to set all of your drag drop options back to their starting position. So that's not going to work for us right here. Instead, what I want to do, let me pull open my final. So this is what we want to show. We want to show our options. I know it looks just, let it preview real quick. What I want to do is just allow myself, or allow the learners to try their missed questions, their missed drag question choices, and not have to reset everything to the beginning. So we'll get the first one correct. We'll just say, okay, that's correct, and then we'll miss these next two. So I'll say number 2 will go to 3, and then the fire goes to the earth. And then when I click submit, what I want to see happen when I click the continue button to try again is I want to see those bottom 2 choices jump back to their starting position. That's pretty cool, right? I'm not using variables to make this happen. I am using some, I worked with the drop correct and incorrect states. You can see the color changes here. You don't have to change the color. I'm just doing that for teaching. It makes it a little bit easier to see what's happening. All right, so with that, let's just build this. I'll start from scratch. I have a simplified version right here, so we'll just really approach this from the very beginning. So nothing here. It's not a freeform slide question yet. We're just going to convert it. So up here from the insert tab on the ribbon, we'll choose convert to freeform, and then we'll make this a drag and drop. All right, so that's going to take us to form view, and we just need to wire this up real quick. So for my drag items, since I've named these nicely, we'll say drag 1, drag 2, and then drag 3. So we'll get all of our drag items set up, and then we'll just add the corresponding drop target. So 1, 2, and 3. Also just this is a good reason to give your items a consistent prefix, right? So all my drops are named with the drop prefix. My drags were as well. Just makes it really easy to kind of knock those out in form view. And then finally, I just want to add attempts. I want at least 2 attempts. Anything 2 or more is fine, but we want that try again later so we can see, the learner can see their missed choices, and then we can reset those. I think right here, that's all we need to care about here. I'm going to pop now back into slide view, and then with slide view, take a look and see what's going on here. So we have our choices, and they correspond to each of their targets. If you look down here in the bottom right corner, we have our slide layers for try again, incorrect, and correct. So a couple things we need to set up. First up, I'm going to add my built-in states, the drop correct and incorrect states. I want that part of the states for the objects, because then we can track whether or not the object was placed in its correct target. So with that first drag object selected, we'll come down here to the states panel, edit states, and then we'll just add those 2 built-in states for drop correct and drop incorrect. I can always find, whenever anyone sends me their file and I look at it, I can always tell if they came from a different authoring tool, because they won't use things like the built-in drop correct and incorrect. They're not letting Storyline do it for them. They're actually using additional triggers to customize which state appears. Nothing wrong with it, but I can always tell when someone has authoring experience in a different tool, but they just haven't really learned necessarily the Storyline way. The Storyline will do this for us. We don't need triggers for it. So we'll say drop correct, and I'll just click add. And then I'm just going to use a simple green color here just to help us identify that this is the correct choice, the correct state. And then we'll add a second state here, and we'll make this one our drop incorrect. So this is what's going to show if it's dropped into the incorrect state. Now, while I'm doing this, it's worth mentioning that color alone is not really the best way to indicate visual feedback to learners. If someone has color distinction issues, for example, they may not notice the difference between the green and the red. So ideally, we would put something more in there, an icon, text, different feedback, something like that. But for teaching for this purposes right here, this is okay for us, but just want to mention that. So let's quickly apply what we just did for those two states to the remaining two objects. So with that first object selected, we'll come up to the Home tab on the ribbon. I'm going to double click the Format Painter. Format Painter is going to let me copy those two states to the other objects. So we'll click once on number 2 and then once on 3, and you can see that adds quickly the drop correct and incorrect states for me. All right, just got to click away, deselect, go away. It's not going away. There, it's going away. Okay, so now we have the states, we have the state changes, so we can at least track whether or not the learner dropped each object into a correct or incorrect state. Final step, and this is sort of the secret or the trick to making this work, we're going to head on over to the try again layer and think about what is it we want to do. When we hit the try again layer, it means that learner has missed at least one or more of the choices. And so when they return to the layer, back to the base layer, we want to see only those 2 objects or 3 objects or one of them that's been dropped incorrectly back in its starting position. So here's how this works. We're going to add a motion path to each of these 3 objects. Now a motion path, you think, wait a minute, we're not going to have to go back and forth and multiple motion paths. No. So the motion path trick that we're going to use is a 0 pixel length motion path. The motion path's not going to go anywhere, but it does let us reset it or tell the object to go back to its starting position. So we don't have, in Storyline, we don't have the concept of X and Y coordinates to make objects move around the slide, but with a motion path at a 0 pixel, we can always tell the object to go back to its starting position. So let me show you how this works. I'm just going to select this first object, the animation tab from our ribbon, add a motion path, and it doesn't matter, a line is fine. And then with that motion path, you can just leave it active right there. Come on up here to the size and position, and we're going to change that position, that length, that distance or length of the motion path to 0. So hit return, and there's our 0 pixel motion path, which means it's starting and stopping in the exact same position. That's the trick. So with the first one, let's just call this one, let's give it a name real quick, M01 path, and this will make it a lot easier for us to identify when we're adding the triggers. And then we're going to make the duration. We're going to make this happen really fast. So I'm going to add 0.1, so just the shortest duration we can add. And now that I've got that first one set up, just like we did with the Format Painter, I can use the Animation Painter to apply that same motion path properties to the remaining 2 objects. So select my object, Animation tab, and then double click the Format Painter right here. Animation Painter, and then I'll click once on number 2 and once on number 3, and then let's deselect that and then just rename each of these. So we'll say this one will be O2 path, and then we'll do O3 path. All right, so that is it. It still might be thinking, what's going on? How is this going to work? Let me show you. So when we add a motion path, by default, it does add the motion path triggers so that the motion path begins when the timeline first begins. Well, we don't want that here. We don't want any triggers controlling our motion path on the base layer. So I'm just going to select all 3 of those and click delete. And then I'm going to head on over to the try again layer. So here's really where it all comes together. We have, if I jump back to the base layer, remember we have the drop correct and incorrect states right here. So when we get to the try again layer, we want to evaluate, is each object correct or incorrect? Is the state showing the drop correct or incorrect? And if it's not showing correct, then let's go ahead and play that motion path. So we come up here to the try again, and I'm going to say new trigger. And what is it I want to do? I want to move each object on its path. So the move is the trigger that we're going to work with, and I'll just start from the beginning. So we'll say drag 1. So we're going to move the drag 1 object along its path, O1 path. That's why we name these consistently, it makes it a lot easier. And we could say when the timeline starts, but I like to have it fire when the learner clicks the try again. So that's more of a preference. So I'll say when user clicks the try again. Now, we don't want it to automatically reset at this point. We still need to add a condition because we only want it to play on the path. We only want it to move on the path if the learner gets it incorrect, which means the condition's evaluating if the object is, so drag 1 is not drop correct. So we'll say not equal to drop correct. So only play the object, only move the object or reset the object if the state of the object is not equal to drop correct. That's it. All right, so that first one is created. I'm going to copy it and then paste it. Oh, well, I guess I should have selected the try again button. So let me double click that again to open it. We'll say move O2, drag O2 along path O2 when the user clicks the try again button. And we have to say this time if drag O2 is not correct. So click OK, and then this time I'll select the try again button and then I'll click paste. And does that work? Yeah, that's a little bit better. So now I can just say drag O3 if drag O3 along path O3 if drag O3 is not correct. I think that's it. Let me come back to the base layer. Oh, I did add a custom submit button, so let's just change that, because right now this is looking at the player submit button. So we'll say submit button for our custom one. Let's give it a try. Let's see if it works. I think I got it all, but we'll find out soon enough. So we'll let this preview, and then we'll get one correct, and then we'll get a couple incorrect. So we'll say the first one, we can say that's correct, and then let's say 2 is incorrect, and then 3 is incorrect. All right, here we go. Submit. Okay, so I can see the visual feedback down here on the base layer. I click try again, and look at that. It resets everything back to its position. Now, real quick, just to show you why these are not changing as soon as we drop them on the target, the default functionality for the visual feedback for the correct and incorrect states is turned off until the learner submits. So if I select my design tab for my drag and drop, and then we come over here to drag and drop options, if you want to show that feedback immediately, we can just turn off delay the item feedback until it's submitted. So let me show you what the difference is here. It's really just a small difference in terms of when those you'll see those color changes for each object. But you may not even want the color changes. You may just want them to be the same color, which is okay. You see, as soon as I put it in the right place, you see that we get the feedback. So in this case, we're kind of telling the learner ahead of time, these aren't correct. You should change those, right? And then they say, no, I'm still going to go ahead anyway. I know they're right. And then when we click try again, it's going to move them back up there. So just a couple ideas, a couple ways that you can look at resetting those. Again, you don't need the color changes, but you do want those drop correct states and incorrect states, because then you can evaluate quickly before the interaction is really submitted which objects have been dropped correctly and which ones haven't been. All right, as always, if you have any questions, hit us up in the forums. Hope you enjoy this little technique. It's something that a little lesser known, but certainly is a great way to extend what's already possible with Storyline 360's drag and drop options. Thanks.